Well, hey, folks, welcome to the pre-show in my hotel room. I am up north at the cabin working on my friend Andy Dabb's book. Well, we just kind of finished it off and sent it off to the editor today. And it sat for a few weeks without us doing anything on it. So that's why I'm up here. And so he moved some things around. They don't have the spare room down in their basement. They're downstairs anymore. Where I broadcast from. So he said, "You can put you up in a hotel." And this is the same hotel that Rainey and the kids and I were in a couple of years ago when I came up and was doing work for Andy. So it's kind of nice to be here. And it's a nice room. Rarely do I broadcast from a spot where there's the bed behind me. You can tell people who broadcast from their bedrooms. And but this is a nice room. Pan around a bit. Oh, the lamp is right there, but that's the sofa, and there's a hot tub in the corner back there. The hot tub. So that's why I'm all flushed. I've just got out of the hot tub, overheated, and but relaxed. So let me start the stream. Boom. That stream is going now. Since I do not missing audio device. Oh, okay. I've got to do I got to switch to my internal device. Here, I'm glad I looked at that just now. Input device is going to be here. Let's see if it allows me to change it. Well, system audio, no. Application, no. Input device. Output device, audio. Okay, give me a second here. We'll get figured out. Output device, input device. We're going to go with the built-in microphone. Boom, there we go. And we got echoes. So I'm going to take this sound way down. Otherwise, I got to put on a headset. So there, we are connected to the stream, and we got about 2 minutes before we go live over at the radio station. So thanks for everybody for being here. I love beds too. I could crawl into that one right now and enjoy myself sleeping. So, so I'm about a little over 3-hour drive from my house to get up here to Andy's. And so we got his book sent to the editor today for a final edit. And we'll see how that all goes. Tonight's top, I think it's a hot one. We talk about the hurricane, which is big news here, but the possibility of something being as major as the Cuban Missile Crisis was in the 60s for JFK is also very top news. And so I think it's worth talking about, because it's things we all talk about and we all think about when we hear some of the threats that were out there. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Where are you at, Scotty? Says Leslie. I am up in Pequot Lakes, Leslie, Minnesota. So that's where I'm staying. And it's actually, the hotel is in Jenkins. It's about 7 miles further up the road, but that's just fine. So, and Andy's house is right next to Sarah Soderlund's house up there, coincidentally. And for all the times I've been up there, we've never gotten together. We've never gotten all of us together. We tried once and we missed each other and, stuff like that. So when she had her studio all set up downtown in Pequot Lakes. So Brian Parker's on the backside of the hurricane. Here we go. And we've run a little bit over in the pre-show, folks. So all of those of you listening on the radio, stand by. Here we go. Let's get this thing going.
Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent talk.
Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Rainey Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff, and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with two T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad, so he can take me to Disneyland.
You're listening to the Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent talk.
Let me see what's going on here. I think it's something with the, it's still playing the commercial, and the intro was freezing up. It's the hotel internet, I do believe, is messing with me. I know we broadcast from here a couple of years ago, but see, now I've got live. Now somebody's calling me to tell me that I'm muted. Thank you for calling, whoever you are. The phone's ringing across the room. It's not muted. It is a little screw up with the internet. So thank you, everybody, for helping me follow up on being muted tonight. Those of you listening on the radio, you probably got some nice blank spots tonight. And sorry about that. I think we had a little mess up with the hotel internet not being able to handle the load of my show. So how is that? So everybody over there, just let me know if you see any skips in the broadcast. This one skipped some things in the intro and then replayed it. And I didn't know if I was frozen on your end or if I wasn't broadcasting. So there you go. So all the mics were up because I don't have a soundboard here tonight. So it just comes on automatically when it comes off of the commercials. So I just fast forwarded to the end, and here we are. Welcome to the program. I'm your host, Scotty Roberts. This is the Intrepid radio program, and we're broadcasting to you remotely from up north in the woods in Minnesota. And I'm at a hotel here. That's why the bed is in the background for those of you watching the simulcast in video. And pardon technical glitches. They're not human errors, at least not in this case, and they're not errors with my station. It's an error with where we are broadcasting from. The internet hopefully will be able to handle the rest of this show. So again, keep me apprised over there in the chat room. And I chose tonight's topic because it's something that is going on in. And by the way, if you're a first-time viewer tonight or a first-time listener, just pardon the technical glitches. It's not under my control, so we'll just move like that. So yeah, that pillow is nice. I haven't even touched it yet. So all I've done is throw my bag and my extra clothes over there. So then I hopped in the hot tub, which is over there. So that's why I'm still a little flushed from sitting in steaming, hot, bubbling water, soaking my bones and my muscles for the last hour before the show came on. So at least I'm not sweating anymore. Matthew Sainsbury has a bit of anxiety, I'm sure. You're down in that whole hurricane region. It's going on right now. That's the big news on the domestic front. But of course, the big news on the international front is one where we ask a question where we think we can answer that pretty easily. The question I asked, the bomb, is that something that Putin, while threatening to use it, ever will? What would it take for a world leader? I'm not talking a tin pot dictatorship or a theocracy or something like that, like we see in the Middle East. I'm talking about a country that is a major player on the world stage. Would any of them be able to? And Dave Potter sharing reels with me over on my Instagram. I hope that was a late comer. I hope you're not sharing reels with me during the show. Would it be responsible of anybody to say we will nuke you if the United States had come to the table and said, if you cut off our oil because we're trying to annex Canada, we'll use nukes? Do you think it would be a good thing for us to do to prove that we are the most powerful, that while you may have sabotaged our oil lines, therefore disrupting our revenue, that we could kill a million people of yours, or 100,000 or 200,000 by dropping a bomb? Would that be justifiable? Would anybody in their right mind push that kind of button or even promote it? Putin says he's not joking, he's not bluffing. Because what is the first thing that happened in this? We heard a couple of days ago that the NordStream pipeline from Russia to Germany that goes through Poland, that both of those lines were sabotaged. All we knew at first was they stopped working, and then it's very obvious that they were blown up. So who did that is right now. Who did that? There's theories out there that says, well, the United States did it. And because we said, Biden said in a public speech in February, he said that promised that the Nord Stream pipeline would be taken care of. And he wouldn't give any details on that. So everybody's hailing back to that. Or is that a likely scapegoat? Did Biden mean negotiation? That didn't sound like negotiating talk. Maybe I have a theory right now that the United States probably didn't do it, but the United States probably funded it, would be my guess. And through backdoor funding of some kind, one route or another. So you had this pipeline blown up a couple of days ago. And this is a major artery and a major source of revenue for the Russian government. And so can that be fixed when it's blown up out to sea? I don't know. I don't know how quickly they can do that. I'm pretty sure it can be repaired. But what was the purpose of it being blown up? Because it would stop all oil flow and revenue flow into Russia? Or was it blown up because Russia could then have a scapegoat to push the button now, which is what Putin did. He says investigation is going on. I just got an error from Odyssey Radio, so I don't know if we're playing at Odyssey Radio right now. Maybe the broadcast is really rough. I have no idea what's going on, but I've got an error over there, and of course, no engineer to look at that. So broadcast error. There was an issue connecting to the remote server. Check the server and try again. Here we go. Well, there's the server. It's all right, and presets are manual and blah de blah. The status. Retry. Let's retry that connection and see if it gets us up or not. There was an issue connecting to the remote server, so we might not be able to put out a stream because the internet here is so bad. I'm usually at Andy's house when we're broadcasting from up here. So it failed. So sorry about that to all of those of you who may have been listening over on the radio station. You're not going to hear it now because I can't fix it. So now Dave Potter says Putin isn't in his right mind, so it's anyone's guess as to what he might do. Did they do this to blame it on the United States so they could push the button and start a war? What about China? Of this situation. It's always pretty well known that why do you think you had the Axis and the Allies in World War II? Nations gathered together and take sides. So God bless Northern Minnesota, said Leslie Holker. Well, there you go. Yeah, I agree. Northern Minnesota is nice. Biden not being in his right mind either. So do you have two world leaders who are not in their right mind? Now, are there not people around these two leaders that can prevent them from enacting stupidity? Maybe not on this side of the ocean, because God knows what the plan is over here. Somebody's got a plan. Somebody's trying to enact the plan, but we don't know exactly what's going to happen. So with Putin, is he insane? Is he evil? What is it? I know just a few years ago, Putin would get on national television, on United States television, and be interviewed about things. And I found him an interesting world leader. Everyone's don't trust a thing out of the word out of his mouth. And I said, I actually agree with some of the things he's saying. I don't remember what it was he was talking about, a major issue in the United States. And he came out and said, this is the way it is. Now, he seemed to be in his right mind then. Is he now suddenly, a few years later, not in his right mind? I don't know. So what could happen if Putin wanted to press the button and launch nuclear missiles on the United States? Now he has made this threat. Now you all know what happened with the pipeline. I'm not going to go into that too deep at all, but I want to look at this whole idea, an analysis. Is it truth or is it a bluff? Why Putin's nuclear warnings have the West worried. Are you worried about it at all? I tend to think I'm not too worried because I don't think anybody's going to do that. That would be global annihilation if somebody put one think this show is going to broadcast very well, as we're already seeing. I don't know what kind of choppiness you've been getting so far. But right now, this broadcast is having trouble connecting from where I am sitting. The internet here does not want to seem to work well. And I think I'm still kind of set up over at the radio station. Nothing's going on. There now it says I'm back on at the radio station. My internet, all of those of you listening, if there's any diehards over there waiting for the signal to pop back on at Odyssey Radio, let me let you know that the location where I'm broadcasting has miserable internet because we keep cutting in and out and in and out. And my apologies for that. We're going to be here tomorrow night as well. So if that's the case, then and we're here tomorrow night, I may have to jump to my phone and do things that way. So I'm terribly sorry that this is doing this tonight. It gets garbled, but we know it's not your fault, Scott. Thank you, Leslie. I'm not so worried about people thinking it's my fault as just not having an enjoyable broadcast tonight. Now, it's retrying again on Odyssey Radio, which means I don't think we're going to be able to connect. That's too bad. Tomorrow night, I'll see if I can get it. If I'm here in the hotel tomorrow night, I'll see what I can do to get it set up to broadcast from my phone. So it worked well from your phone. You can have a smoke at the same time. That's right. I'd have to move it outdoors here. Or I'll just stay at Andy's house tomorrow night. Sleep on the sofa over there so we can broadcast a good show. So he gave me the option. You can stay here at the house. He said, sleep on the sofa. I said, well, I do my radio show. I don't want to keep anybody up because he no longer has the room usable for me to stay there to broadcast from in his downstairs. So I'd be up on the main level. I don't want to keep them up until 11 o'clock at night. So working a little better now, said Matthew Sainsbury. It's going to be up and down. Yeah, I could switch to my phone, but then we'd have to shut this broadcast down and restart it. And so I don't think that's going to work tonight. I hate to say, but it's a good idea. I appreciate the idea. So in the meantime, we'll see what we can do. You aren't frozen stiff anymore, Scotty, says Deb Treadway. Yeah, well, yeah, sofas are not comfortable. Ours is a day bed that I lay on when Andy's gone. Miserable night's sleep. Yeah, sofas don't give you a really good night's sleep. That's for certain. So I've never been booted to the sofa by my wife, by the way. There were times where she threatened it, we're arguing, you could go sleep on the sofa. I said, no, you're the one who doesn't want me in the bed, so you go to the sofa. I don't think there's any chivalry involved or necessary when you're arguing spouse to spouse. One of you wants you kicked out of the bed, you know what? You say, I ain't the one that needs to go. If you don't want to sleep with me, you can go sleep on the sofa. Have a nice night. Or you can stay here and we can resolve it. That was always my thing. So Odyssey Radio, sorry guys over at Odyssey, it's just not working tonight. From where we're sitting, the internet must be very miserable here in this hotel. I don't remember it being this bad when we were here before. So maybe tomorrow night, if I'm not home by tomorrow night, I'll stay at Andy's tomorrow night and we'll be able to tackle that problem, or I'll use my phone. So this whole question, I won't bother getting into a big, deep question about Putin and what he plans to do, or what the thought is and what he plans to do. But his latest warning that he's ready to use nuclear weapons to defend Russia amid the war in Ukraine has made a really troubling question much more. Is the former KGB spy Vladimir Putin, is he ready to push the button, or is he bluffing? And he cautioned us, this is no bluff. This is no bluff, he says. Pass me the vodka. And the Western politicians, the diplomats, nuclear weapons experts are all divided on what Putin had to say. And some say he could use one or more smaller tactical nuclear weapons to try to stave off military defeat, to protect his presidency, to scare off the West or intimidate Kiev into capitulation of some kind. But his warning, which was followed by a more specific use nuclear weapons in Ukraine from an ally, might mean the Kremlin is considering an escalation. And who's he going to use as an ally is the big question. There's the question of China's involvement and China wanting to step in. There's been some of that coming down. When do you hit an enemy? When he's being hit by someone else too. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, as the old saying goes. Maybe he's trying to look tough. Maybe he's got the ability. Maybe his missiles don't have the ability to get here. Who the hell knows? Maybe their technology is amazing. I don't know. He says he's not bluffing. But if you're bluffing, if I'm bluffing and I go, and I'm not bluffing, could I be bluffing? So Putin controls the world's largest nuclear arsenal, including a new generation of hypersonic weapons. These are new generation stuff. 10 times more tactical nuclear weapons than the West. The United States and the NATO military alliance are taking him seriously. Now, by the way, I'm going to tell you, on the drive out here, Rainey called me, my wife, for those of you who don't know. And I see we've dropped in a lot of listeners. I think it's probably because we're having so many broadcast problems tonight. But Rainey called me and said, I had a weird dream last night. And boom, boom, I'm flashing in and out. That's a little too much, I think. If I'm dropping this much, the show is not entertaining. It's not fun to listen to. And it's certainly not fun to do. If I'm constantly talking, not knowing what I'm saying, if what I'm saying is getting through or not. So he might blow up Ukraine. Yeah, he might. Yeah, Deb, I froze. I'm back, I think now. At least my broadcast window says I'm back. Still not back on at Odyssey Radio. So it froze up for a bit. You know what? It's going to keep doing that because the internet here sucks. And how can you have a hotel? I'm in an American. How can you have a hotel, a national chain that advertises to families and business overnighters, but you don't have internet that can sustain a connection? I don't know. So anyway, Rainey had a dream last night is where I ended. She called me while I'm driving today and said, I've got to tell you about this crazy dream. And she talked about, I won't give all the details because I don't know them all, can't remember them all, but being in a place where we were being attacked by Russians and they were shooting at us, and there were portals that you could go through or send your family through or your friends through. And the only problem was, she said, you have two choices. You could go through a portal, which would take you to a different time and place. You just didn't know exactly where. You didn't know where you'd end up, or you could stay and fight if you had weapons. And then the dream, she woke up, she went back to say it extended. They were all in like a theater, a school theater, and being shot at by Russians. She said, except they had different kinds of weapons. She said they were kind of like some kind of laser pulse weapon or something. It didn't shoot bullets. And she said there was one point where and he dropped his weapon. I scooped it up. She said she scooped it up and started shooting with that, and she woke up. And now the interesting thing is that she wasn't really aware of what was going on in Russia overnight, with the pipeline being exploded, and Putin reasserting his desire to not bluff when he says that he's considering the nuclear option. So I thought that was kind of crazy set of little dreams she had. Hey, Macabre, good to see you. Glad you made it in tonight. You're here on a night where everything is not working. I am not at my home studio, as you can tell. I'm not broadcasting with my soundboard or my mic. It's the built-in on my computer. So apparently, there I went again. So I'm going to cut this pretty short. It's 9:30. It's frustrating for me. It's got to be frustrating for you listeners. It's certainly not entertaining to have to listen through something that's having all sorts of technical difficulties. So I think that dream carries a deeper meaning. I don't think it's just casual. Well, maybe not. That's the thing I asked her. I said, do you think that dream was precognitive, or do you think it was just based on what you know of the world situation? She said, I didn't really know anything was going on this morning or last night when she was dreaming it, which makes it very interesting. So I tell you what, folks, I'm going to talk until this thing cuts out again, because it's sure to do it again. We're only and we've cut out 3 or 4 times now. We lost the radio station link up altogether. It just cannot reconnect, and which really kind of sucks. So, so sorry about that. Out of my control. We'll either, I can get a good night's sleep tonight, maybe, huh? Says Leslie Holker. Get a drink and enjoy a smoke. I got my drink. Andy gave me a bottle of bourbon today. Now, I didn't bring that with me. Just thought, I'll just put it in the car tomorrow. Could have had a drink tonight. It's what was the bourbon? Whipple something. It's an expensive bourbon. And he said, do you want this bottle? And he says, you can have this bottle. Well, sure, I'll take it. So Dave, next time you come over, we'll have to test it. So Dave must be going. Good to see you. I'm going to be out of here any moment. So folks, thanks for coming. Sorry for the problems, the technical problems. I have no control over those technical problems, and it's as frustrating to me as it is to you, because I'm here to give you information, to talk, to let you chat back with me, to let you even call in. I'm here to entertain you. Are you not entertained? And then this happens, and we've got shitty internet connection. So my apologies for that. It's a nice hotel, but their internet sucks. So I apologize for that. We will be back. Hey, Sarah Yusuf, we're going to get out of here because I'm in the hotel, and the hotel internet has crashed several times through the show. We're not even broadcasting on the radio now. So, hey, Milky Way. Yeah, I'm at a hotel. That's why you're seeing the big fluffy bed back there. And I might as well show you all. I don't know if I can show you because the lamp's in the way. But this is a really nice suite. And it goes all the way over there. And way behind the sofa in those mirrored corners over there, that's all a hot tub. I was in the hot tub. The hot tub was hot. And if you don't know where that came from, that was an Eddie Murphy parody of James Brown. I'm going to be hot in a hot tub. So sweat. Yeah, I sweat. No, look at, I was even more red than normal because I heated my body up pre-show in the hot tub. It was for the internet. So my own hot tub. That's right. If I was local to anybody, I'd say, hey, hop over in. Come on into the hot tub. I sent a little video. I scanned from one end of the room to the other, and I came around and I said, Rainey, you should be here. Macule Culkin. Macule Culkin. What is that? It's Harrison. Oh, Slickback. Oh, Macaulay Culkin. There you go. I got it. You probably spelled it right. I just read it wrong. In Home Alone. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm in the hotel. Hotel Alone is the name of this movie. Scotty in the hotel alone with a hot tub. So it's like I'm talking through a portal. That's because I don't have my microphone set up either. So we're just going through the computer built-in microphone. No, tomorrow night I'll either get it worked out to do it on the phone tomorrow night, or I'll be home, or I'll stay at Andy's house tomorrow night instead of the hotel. So so there you go. Yeah, it's like a Clue murder. And yeah, I just didn't feel like doing my hair tonight. That's why it's slicked back. Yes, I'll have another show tomorrow night. It'll be better than this. So anyway, you get my take, I think, on Putin. I don't think Putin's going to push the button. I really don't. I don't think the people around him would let him do it. There's that thinking, but then again, his closest elitist guard might be right on the same page with him. So we don't know what's going to happen with that. So far, I don't feel a great disturbance in the force over this. I'm not worrying about a nuclear war starting. I can tell you what, if Putin pushed the button, it would probably be the worst thing he ever did. And probably the last thing he ever did. I hate to put it that way. You got to ask yourself the question, if we last long enough for me to get it out. If we were launched upon by another country, would we retaliate? Why would we retaliate? If we know we're being destroyed, and of course, it would only be 200 missiles at us. Who knows? Would we retaliate by pushing the button? That'd be an interesting mental exercise for you. There was something else I was going to talk about tonight too. Something I heard on the radio this morning, and we'll maybe hit that tomorrow night, because I don't think we're going to last too much longer. Milky Way says if Putin pushed the button and we didn't fire back, then Putin would be the king of the world. Yeah, he would. But here's the question. How many millions of people should die as a result of that had nothing to do with his decision? Unless you just target where he is. Would he be in a place where we would know how to target him if he launched missiles? I don't like thinking about things like this either, Sarah. They just come up, especially when he's making threats. No bluff, he says. I'm bluffing. There you go, Sarah. It might be a good time for the aliens to step in and disarm us. Then take us over. Then put us on their flying saucers and take us home and eat us. If you remember that old Twilight Zone. So anyway, that's all I got. We're going to end early tonight because of the tech difficulties. I don't think it's going to last long. I could, if you want, I'll keep going. I mean, if it cuts out one more time, I'll just shut down. So if you see me cut out, I'll cut out from this end. I'm not broadcasting on the radio, and we've had lots of problems keeping the connection here live. But maybe I can tell you the story that I heard on the radio station this morning. And I actually called in. I'm not much of a caller to radio station. I don't have time. I don't sit and listen to talk radio enough that is live that I can call in live to a show. But this is, if you're from the Twin Cities, you'll know KS95. They play, current music, current rock, stuff like that. But they have a morning kind of talk show. And this show poses questions every day. They have a segment they call Love 'em or List 'em, where they have a caller will call in, pre-call in, and give them this problem that they're facing, usually a family problem, a relationship problem, a job problem. And what do? Do I stay with the, as they call it, list them? On the list, yeah. And they cover different topics. And this morning was a woman who was saying that her father had died, and she's the executor of his will. And she reads in the will that she has two siblings. They're all grown up. They're all in their 30s, I believe. And her father, in his will, disinherited one of her brothers. And he said the reason in his will was, your mother had an affair years ago, 30 years ago, whatever it was. And I'm getting the impression they stayed together. They never told the son, and she had a son out of that. They never told the family, and they never discussed it, and the boy himself never knew. And the father has disinherited him. Instead of dividing what was left, 3 ways between the siblings, he divided it 2 ways and left the third son that wasn't his flesh and blood out. And he also, something about a DNA test was part of his last will and testament. He has to do a DNA test to prove that he's not my son. So here is a very bitter man who went to the grave bitter about something that maybe he had a right to be bitter about, but apparently stayed together and raised the son with his other 2 siblings. And so this woman was like, I don't know, do I honor my father's wishes? She said, or do I just say, screw him? I'm going to tell my brother and I'm going to do this. And people were calling in, and I actually called in. It was after I took the kids to school. I was still sitting in the car, and I called in. I was the last caller that got in. And I said, some of the things you guys are saying, bringing tears to my eyes as I'm listening to you. You're talking about the love of a family, and would a father do this, a loving father do this? And he couldn't deal with it in his lifetime, but he left it to his daughter to do the dirty work for him after he's dead. And so I said, we all have different situations. I said, but I come from my own situations. And I have things that I could be angry about or upset about. I said, but you know what? I said, here's what I would tell this girl to do. Honor your father's wishes and then do what you want. I said, he asked that you do a DNA test. I said, that DNA test, just gather the family together. Your mom, your brother, your sister. I didn't even get if they were both brothers or one brother and one sister. But I said, you 3 siblings, all of you get together, say, we got to have a talk. And brother, we got to tell you something. You're not our dad's son. And it's going to be tough, I said. But I said, do you think families that have survived and stayed together and loved each other and lived with each other, do you think they haven't run into harder things like this than this to take care of? And I said that on the show. I said, throughout human history, there's been a whole hell of a lot of other hard stuff like this. And they were like, yeah, you're right about that. And I said, sit down and say, let's put it all, we have to put this all in the open. You're not our dad's son, but you know what? You're our mom's son, and we're related to mom. You are still our brother. We are all blood here. And so there. If you want a DNA test, it would be a good thing for you to do, I think, so you could know maybe some necessary things about your own DNA. And if you want to look up your real father, it might be a good thing to find your own father and say, hey, I don't know what you were going through back then, but, now's your opportunity to talk. And you can do whatever you want with that. And then I said, and what you should do, the two siblings should pool all that money that's left to them now and divide it 3 ways with your blood brother, who is your mother's son. So, and I kind of ended my input. I said, you know what? This is all about what a great lesson in life that the mess their father left them because he didn't have the balls to take care of it himself when he was alive, and he leaves it to his kid to do his dirty work. I said, what a wonderful outcome that would be if they all got together now and they learned that the best way to live life is to love and live and move on. We've all been hurt. Don't take that hurt to your grave. My God. So, oh, hey, Delaney, you're in Facebook jail, huh? I've been there. Find my scratching on the wall. So, yeah, exactly, Susie. Needs to know. I think compassion rules, Susie, Sarah Yosef. I think compassion should rule. And it's like this woman said, she said, we don't hate our brother. We love our brother. We all love each other. But dad throws this wrench in their gears. What kind of dad would do that? Take that back. Take dad out of it. Dad's a title. What kind of man would do that to his kids? And apparently, there was always the big question, why doesn't dad and our brother get along very well? They were always knocking heads. And so why would the dad take out on the son that was the product of an affair his wife had with someone else, totally innocent of that little baby had nothing to do with that. He wasn't made because he was chosen to be made, unless you want to go into the heavenlies and stuff like that, pre-incarnation. He had nothing to do with those bad choices that were made 30 years ago. But his father wants to take it out on him. I'm not leaving you anything because you're not my real son. That's not a real dad. That's not a man who can be a dad. I got to tell you something. When I met Rainey, as you all know that are my regular listeners, I had 3 kids of my own already. I was a sole custodial parent to my 3 kids. I was raising them by myself. Abby and Bryn were 13, and they're now 30. Abby and Bryn were 13, and Sam was 9 years younger. So what was he? He was 4 when Rainey walked into our family. And then she go, oh, I can't do this. You already got kids. No, Rainey said, I'll be their mom. When we started getting serious and talking about that. And even at our wedding, Rainey's and my wedding, we had a vow ceremony between Rainey and the children, where she vowed to be their stepmom and vowed to love them and take care of them. And she stuck to that. And Sam will tell you today, my oldest son, Sam, he'll say, Rainey was a better mom than my own mom, without getting into that story. So he says, Andy and I had 4, and I had 3 when we got together, and then they all became the Andy Bunch. You know, without an Alice. Raise them as our children, she said. That's it. Rainey raised my kids as her kids too. And then we had our own kids. Were there problems? Yeah, there were problems. Were there times that where Rainey, I think, maybe said, did I make the right choice doing this? Sure there were. There were times I asked those same questions. But you move on, you love and you live. And that was my advice for this young woman today. Now, I don't know what happens from there. I was just a caller on a show. Scotty from Somerset, you're up. So, love yourself as your neighbor, says Romeldian, and then love your neighbor as yourself. And it's kind of a golden rule variation. So, you may have missed part of the plot, Susie Q. It was something I heard on the radio this morning. Yeah, exactly, Susie Q. No man. He's a big crybaby. Clip some hair, take it up with the ex-wife, and leave the kids out of it. Exactly. Dad didn't have the balls, says Leslie, to tell him in life, but was okay with sticking it to him in death and leaving it at the feet of his eldest daughter to do instead of him. What an absolute coward. So that was something I wanted to talk about as well tonight. And I did. You know, well, we got 8 minutes left. We haven't dropped, as far as I can tell, we haven't dropped at all the rest of the night. That's okay, Barbie D. I don't know if you're started the show late and you're picking up earlier garble. Folks, have we been garbling lately? I know it looks like a good broadcast from my end for the last 15 minutes, but so I don't know what it's doing. But good night, Barbie. I get it. It's the hotel internet. So my apologies for that. So we're going to get out of here now. I got to tell my story that I wanted to tell. Tomorrow night we'll be back one way or the other. It'll either be on my phone or it will be over at Andy's, or I'll be home by tomorrow night. We'll have to see the progress we make tomorrow night. So why don't you all have, hey, Andrew Specht, you're just coming in. Anybody just coming in or coming in late? I'm not in my home studio. I'm in a hotel room, you can tell. I'm on the road. But at the same time, we're having a hell of a connection problem here at the hotel. The internet is not good. It dropped our radio and it's been cold ever since. So we talked for as long as we could. So we're going to get out of here now tonight. A little bit early. No captain's cabin tonight. And I'm going to go crawl into that big, comfortable looking thing over my shoulder and get some good sleep. So you all have a good night. And I'm glad you said hello, Andrew. Thank you. And yeah, it's going to be 70 degrees tomorrow. That'll be nice. So I'm not going to hop back in the hot tub tonight. I'm already too melty as it is. And still cooling down a bit from that. And I may step outside. So you all have a good night. I will see you tomorrow night. One way or the other, we'll broadcast the best way we can tomorrow night. So I appreciate your being here. And you know what? Live long and prosper.
Join us every weeknight at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. The Intrepid Radio Program, a Scotty Roberts Productions broadcast.